What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of NJ Healthy Heat. Today I have Trevor Wren, who is an assistant coach over at Yale University. He's also the catching coach over at Yale University. I'm super excited to talk to him. Yale, obviously being in the Ivy League, a lot of the guys that I work with up here in the Northeast have questions about what it takes to play in the Ivies. He's going to be able to answer that in a general format as far as the Ivy League goes, and then get very specific into how Yale goes about their recruiting. And, we're going to talk about their entire season from last year. They had a great 30-win season. They just came off a great year winning coaching staff of the year in 2024. So they're moving and grooving in the right direction. And I'm super excited to kind of pick his brain to see what it is that he can share. So this is going to be a great show with tons of information. So make sure you stay locked in. Without further ado, Trevor, if you want to go ahead and give the people a quick introduction of who you are, your journey to get to Yale, and we'll start there.
Yeah, Coach Daylaw, thanks for having me, man. Really excited to be here. We got to meet this summer. I think you're doing some great things for the kids up in the Northeast and baseball in the Northeast. So really excited to be able to help this. Obviously, where you are, right next to Del Barton, super high education. You get a lot of kids that want to do Ivy and stuff like that. So definitely here to help any way that I can. Ivy baseball is a great experience, and I would highly recommend it to anyone that gets the opportunity or is even thinking about it. Definitely take the time and look into it and do the best research you can. But we'll start just introducing myself. I'm here. This is the start of my second season at Yale. This is my eighth season coaching overall. I've coached at just about every level you could coach at. I've coached junior college, Division One, and Division Three, and now I'm back at Division One again. So I've had just about every level covered. So I feel like I have a pretty good feel for college baseball overall, and I just like to consider myself just like every other baseball coach out there. Like we're grinders who just love the game, man. Like we're just here to help kids and help advance the game any way that we can. So any questions, anything you guys have, feel free, reach out, do anything you can. We're just here to help and advance the game.
Definitely, definitely. So the first question I want to kind of attack is one that you told me off screen here that you get pretty much every day. That's just how smart do you got to be to get into Yale, man? I don't think high school Matt Della Rosa was getting into Yale with the grades that I was putting out there after my high school year. But how smart do you need to be considered to go to an Ivy League school, and more specifically Yale?
Yeah, well, don't worry. High school Trevor Wren was also not getting into Yale, so there's that too. But yeah, you have to be really smart to get into Yale. I mean, it's one of the top learning institutions in the world for a reason. Like, we are top five in the world every year for a reason. You have to be really smart. You obviously have to have high test scores, a good GPA, take some AP classes, like all of that stuff helps. There's not like a flat line of like what you need or like what you need to have. There's a little bit of wiggle room on some stuff, but the thing that I always tell kids is like, I'm going to be honest, I hate getting the question of like, oh, coach, like I'm going in to take my SAT score. Like, what score do I need to get? Like, I don't like telling them a specific score because I feel like it just puts more pressure on them. Like, guys, just go in and do the
Yep.
best that you can do. Like, me telling you that you need a 1450 is not going to make you get a 1450 any more than me telling you that you need a 1300. Like, if you go in and do the best that you can do, I feel like it just turns out better for you in the end. And like, it doesn't put that much stress on the kids. Like, if they're just thinking in their head, oh, I need a 1450, I need a 1450, like, it's not going to turn out as well as like guys just trying to do their best. So, the advice I have for all the kids is just do your best, study for the tests, like, I know there are a ton of SAT, ACT prep classes. Just do your best to be prepared for them as much as you can. Don't go in blind. And then in high school, challenge yourself. AP classes look really good on uh, all of our admission stuff. Our admissions love AP classes. We love guys that push themselves. We're not looking for you to take the easiest curriculum in high school. We're looking for guys that push themselves and want to get the best type of education possible.
Now, you mentioned SAT and ACT. Does one hold more weight over the other in y'all's eyes, or it really doesn't matter?
No, it really doesn't matter. Now there are some schools that are still test optional. We are not. We are test mandatory, so you have to take one of the tests to get in and have a high enough score to get in. Now there are still some Ivies that are test optional, which makes it easier for some of those kids to navigate some of that stuff and just have good GPA and good AP scores and stuff like that. But I think most Ivies are starting to go back to test mandatory as well. But as far as ACT, SAT, no, one really doesn't carry more weight than the other.
And then outside of the academics, when it comes to an Ivy League, I would have to imagine that y'all are looking at like community service or other things that you're involved in. Is that something that plays a role? Or if a kid just has great grades and can pick it, y'all are like, hey, come on here. And he's going to get the same look as a kid who maybe doesn't or has more, off field, accolades
Yeah, I
or,
mean,
in the
I think
community.
we're always looking for well-rounded kids. Like when you come to Yale, you come to Yale for more than just baseball. Like you come to Yale to be the next leaders of the world, and that's what we get to do. And like if you look at our list of alumni, it's extensive and it's very impressive. Like what guys have gone on to do. That's not just baseball. So we look for guys that have passions in other areas, but by no means is it mandatory. Like if we have a no doubt shortstop and he just has really good grades and is a really good shortstop, like he's we're going to do everything we can to try to get him. But we look for to have the best people that we can have too, because uh, especially in our game and in our setting where we only have so many spots. We try to build the best culture that we can, and we don't try to waste any of those spots on guys that aren't going to improve the culture.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And now, are y'all specifically going after high school kids? I know that we talked about it this summer. I'd love for you to touch on that. Or are y'all pulling kids from the transfer portal as well? And if you are, what does it look like to pull a kid from the transfer portal to come to an Ivy League? Is it Ivy League to Ivy League school, or are you guys getting guys out there, or are you just going straight high school? I don't know.
Yeah, we're pretty much straight high school. First of all, our transfer window is much smaller than most other schools. I believe the transfer portal opens June 1st, and I think the last day an Ivy can take a transfer is June 15th. So even to get somebody that one has the grades, can get into Yale, can do all that stuff and do that in 15 days and get them to visit because we like kids to come see and everything. Like it's a task. And also we have to save one of our admission spots for that late into the year. Like it's not a comfortable feeling for us, and it's not something that I think that we really try to focus on. And so we spend majority, pretty much all of our time on high school kids. Also, we only get 7 spots a year. So if we spend that on a guy that only gets 2 years at our place, then we have one less guy for 2 years. So I mean, the biggest our roster is going to be is 28, and if we start bringing in kids for 2 years or 3 years or stuff, we're going to get to a year where we have like 22, 23 kids on the team, and like that's just not something that we want either. So
So, what do you mean you only get 7 spots? You guys only have 7 scholarships allotted to the baseball
yeah,
team?
so no scholarships in the Ivy League. So there's no baseball scholarships in the Ivy League, but we get 7 basically admission spots, guys that we promote to say that they should be let in for baseball and academics. Um, so the admission standard is slightly lower for the athletes, not very much lower, but just slightly lower for the athletes. And then so we get 7 basically guys that we promote and say like, hey, these are our guys that we want in for baseball. So we get 7 of those a year. So that adds up to 28 over 4 years.
And then how many people y'all carry 28 in the spring roster? And then how many people do y'all carry in the fall?
28. Yeah, we don't. I ever
Oh, wow,
Yeah, so
28 just across the
28
board. So
period.
everybody, if you're on the team, you're on the
Yeah, you're on
team.
the team, you're on the team. There's no real cutting. There's no now we have a couple we got lucky and had a couple kids who have got into school on their own and have are considered walk-ons. So we have a kid from Austin, Texas. He's the bullpen catcher. Yeah,
Oh,
little ATX. Got a little bullpen catcher. His dad went to Yale. He's going to Yale to go to med school after this. Incredibly brilliant, bright kid, but great kid. Works out with us, does a lot of stuff. We have another outfielder that just got into school on his own and wanted to come out, and they're great. They're around the team, but yeah. So if by chance a great baseball player gets into school on their own, yeah, we will absolutely welcome them. But uh, it's very unlikely that we have anything other than 28 kids on the roster.
now just random question, but do you guys have people like at big universities, right? They'll have walk-ons just come out and try out. Do y'all have just kids being like, "Hey, I'm a student at Yale, but I also play ball pretty well. Like, can I try out for your
Um,
team?" You guys have that or no? Not
Definitely not
really.
as much as other places I've been, I'll tell you that for sure. Most of the people who come to Yale for a reason, and most of it is not to try and walk onto the baseball team, that's for sure. But yeah, so there 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 has been times where there have been people who have asked to try out or walk on, but it's it's not incredibly common, I will say. Like I said, most of them come here for a reason, and it's definitely not to spend most of their time at the baseball field.
Gotcha. So now that we know kind of the caliber of student you have to be, let's transition into the caliber of player you have to be to attend Yale. Um, what would you say a Yale baseball player looks like compared to another Division I baseball player? Are they on the same level? Is there, how would you describe that?
Uh, Yale baseball players are Division I baseball players through and through. I say this all the time. They're not smart kids who happen to be baseball players. They're baseball players who happen to be really smart kids. I've
Yeah.
coached. This is now going to be my sixth year coaching Division I baseball, and I say Ivy baseball is up there with some of the best in the country, like the top end talent. We had a bunch of kids get drafted last year. We're going to have a bunch of kids again get drafted this year. We're really lucky to have Jack Oman led the country in ERA last year. He's a top 10 draft prospect for 2027. Like all these things, like Ivy baseball is real. Like they're not just here to get an education, like they're here to play ball, and it's like it's real baseball and it's fun to watch. And it's honestly the thing that surprised me the most about coming up to the Ivy is like I didn't know, and like I don't think it gets the respect around the country that it probably should for how good of baseball it is. But the last three NCAA tournaments, all the Ivies have gone to a regional final. Like it's really good baseball and it's just continuing to grow. And I think the access to different players throughout the country and what Ivy leagues are able to do and how they can recruit nationwide is really cool, and it brings such a great brand of baseball to the Northeast that I feel like isn't always there. So I definitely think it's really cool, and but yeah, Ivy baseball is just incredible. Yeah, these guys are Division I baseball players in every sense of the word. Um, they're top recruits. All of them are at least ranked in the top 500, if not higher, of perfect game every year. Like we had a top 75 recruiting classes last year, so like we're competing with everyone, like all the big dogs on and off the field. So these guys are everything that it means to be a Division I baseball player.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you guys have a huge upper hand when it comes to recruiting and saying, like, hey, we're Yale, we have this high end academic standard. But how do you get guys to maybe come that are looking at, better baseball schools in the sense of, the SEC, ACC, they're proven, they've gone to, College World Series. How do you turn a player? What's your marketing pitch to say, hey, come here for the same level of baseball players, and on top of that, you're
Yeah.
going to get a huge education?
Yeah.
How do y'all
And
switch those
I
guys,
think it's really
especially
just
because they're highly recruited?
Yeah, I think it's really just selling them on what the education does for them. Like, this is a 4 year decision that's for the rest of your life. It's 4 years that's going to make you a ton of money. It's going to make you very successful, but you also just get to be surrounded by excellence. And that's a really cool thing about coming to Yale is that when you're at Yale, you're surrounded by the elite of the elite in every sense of the word. Everyone who goes to Yale is exceptional at something and they're really good at what they do. So like when you're in your engineering classes, when you're in your economic classes, you're being taught by some of the best professors in the world. You get different types of internships. You get different types of experiences that just most schools just can't offer. So we offer something not only on the field, but off the field that most places cannot just offer. So these guys just get an experience that is just so unique and so different that it really is just a great place to be. And I don't think anything sets you up better for the future than coming to Yale. And that's what we really sell them on is our extensive alumni network. Um, I mean, not only just athletically, but academically of everything that we can do to help them just get better and put them in the best spot to succeed, not only on the field, but off the field for the rest of their life.
Now, that's the marketing pitch that you're going towards against somebody who is looking at maybe some schools down in the South, SEC, ACC. What about when you're recruiting in conference, right? When you're going up against other Ivy Leagues who are able to, have the same pitch of like, hey, come to our school. We've got great alumni. We've got high academic standards. We're going to set you up. How do y'all separate yourselves in the Ivy Leagues?
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's kind of some of the same stuff of like, hey, like this is what Yale has to offer, and there's a reason that Yale, Harvard, Princeton kind of have like a little bit of a named carries a little bit more weight in the academic world than some of the other Ivies. And now, listen, if you go to any of the Ivy League schools, they're all incredible. They all have great stuff to offer, and they all can do great things, and they're all full of great coaching staffs who do great stuff in baseball. So, I mean, when it comes down to Ivy, it's splitting hairs, but I'm a little biased, but I think Yale as baseball, athletics, academics is probably the most complete package that you can get. As constantly being a top five school in the world, constantly being winning national championships in athletics, our own brand deal with Under Armour. Like we have so many different things to offer that are just top notch, and like I'll say it a lot, elite. Like that's a word that's used around here, but we just take everything to the 10th degree. Like everything is done to the finest detail. And I think that's something that, especially once people get on campus and they realize and they see the facilities that we have. Not only do I think that we have the best stadium in the Ivy, we're the only team with lights, so that's cool. We have a Power Five weight room. Like
Sweet.
we get to do all this kind of stuff that separates us a little bit. Like I said, it's splitting hairs when you get down to different Ivies, but once you get on campus, you see the beautiful campus that's been here for 200 plus years. You get to see the tradition. You get to play at the same field that Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, all of them played at. Like there's a feeling and there's a history at Yale that you just can't compete with.
Now explain that because I know those three dudes ain't going to
Yeah.
Yale. So how are
No,
they? What
so
y'all got a former professional baseball field?
so it's really cool. So our field was first built, actually this is the 100th year. So it was built in 1926. But on Sundays back in the day when MLB didn't play on Sundays, the Yankees would take the train up from New York and the Red Sox would take the train down from Boston and they'd play in New Haven every Sunday. So for years,
Let's go. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So for years we've had they had Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ted Williams, all these guys got to play at the field that you're playing at right now with home plates in the exact same spot. So it's a really cool history thing to have, and all the baseball nuts seem to love it. I mean, I love it. I get to walk on the same field every day that Babe Ruth did, and all those guys. So it's super cool. And when you walk into the stadium, there's just this feeling. There's a little bit of history. It has that old stadium feel to it. Whenever we get people here, they say the same thing, like, oh, it just feels like a ballpark, and it does. Like, it feels like an old ballpark. Like, you get a feeling when you walk into Fenway. You get a feeling when you walk by Wrigley. You get a feeling when you walk by George Bush Stadium. Like, it's just, now I'm not going to put it in the same category because those are holy grails, but there's a feeling and there's a history to this place that's really cool and just unmatched.
Dude, that's sick. I
Yeah.
got chills literally thinking about and I'm a baseball
Yeah.
nut myself, so and I've gotten the privilege of playing on some fields like that are still around. And every time you walk on it, yeah, you're just like, man, I know I'm in the right place.
Yeah.
I know I'm going in the right direction because of the guys who have come before me who have literally stood on this exact same plot of grass or in the same batter's box as me. So,
No doubt.
no, that's awesome, man. That's a fun little side story there. When it comes to like recruiting, I'm curious how y'all find your players. I would have to imagine you guys stay in the Northeast, but you just mentioned that you've got a guy down from Austin, Texas. So, like, how are you seeing guys across the country?
We are we
Talk
are
to us
we are
about
as
y'all's kind of
national as
strategy a
national
little
can
bit.
get. We I think we have now on our team this year, so we're a little low on the roster side. I think we're going to be at 24 on the roster this year, so low. But we got 24 kids, 18 to 19 different states. Like we're spread out all across the country. Again, I'm not going to take any credit for this, but we've a coaching staff of dudes who just work tirelessly. Like I got the good fortune of coming in here last year right before we had a great season. So the three guys that I'm about to mention did all the work to make sure that that happened. Our head coach, Coach Ham, is incredible, tireless worker, great leader. Corey Keene, our assistant coach, hitting coach, incredible. Coach Wojcik, our recruiting coordinator, everybody calls him Woj, but those guys work tirelessly. Like when I tell you that there's probably not a position player in the country that has the grades to get into Yale that Coach Keene doesn't know of. It's probably true. Like he works tirelessly to try to find the best position players in the country that we can get into school. Uh, Woj does the same thing on pitcher side. Like we've been top 5 in the country in pitching for a reason. He's not only great at identifying talent but developing talent. But yeah, they just work tirelessly trying to find the perfect fit guys. And I don't think Corey slept in his bed this summer for more than probably 5 or 6 nights. So he was on the road.
Just out on the
He's just
road.
out on the road, just a road rat watching baseball games, trying to find any player, trying to get any upper hand that he can. He just does anything he can. He works tirelessly, and Woj is the same way, man. They just work their tails off trying to find the guys, and I'm just lucky that I get to come in here and help out any way that I can, and I like being on the road, and I got a supportive fiance who's okay with me leaving the house. Probably wants me to leave the house every once in a while, but it's okay with me being on the road too, trying to help find the next guys. And I think that's just one of the upper hands that we have against a lot of pros. We have 4 dudes who just work and they want to win and we're competitive and we really want to be the best that we can be, and we take a lot of pride in this Y right here on our chest, and we know what it means to represent this. And we're trying to find the best 7 dudes every year, from even internationally. We got 2 international kids in our next signing class.
Wow.
So we got one coming in from Canada and one coming in
where?
from the Czech Republic.
There you go.
So
Let's go.
it's pretty
Let's go.
cool.
And so, I mean, y'all are out on the road, so the cliche of like, if you're good, they will find you, like, couldn't be more true with Yale. Like, if there's a baseball player who wants to go to Yale, who has the ability to play and
Yeah.
has the academics, they're not getting overlooked. You guys are gonna sniff them out.
Yeah, there's very rarely anyone that goes through the Ivy that we haven't found or seen or at least tried to get at some point. And you don't always win those recruiting battles, and everybody else in the Ivy works hard because it's hard to get guys in. But I think that we're very fortunate to have 4 guys that work really hard and try to get it done. And yeah, we're gonna try and find you. If you have the grades and you had the talent, we're gonna do everything we can to find you.
So once y'all identify a player and you're like, ooh, I kind of like that guy, and you saw him down in Florida or
Yeah.
wherever it may be, or you saw him down in Texas, what's the next steps? What does the process look like for you guys? Are you inviting them to camps? Do you need to go see him again? Or once you see him, you're like, hey, I just need to know what your grades are. I saw you play once. You're good enough. You pick it. Come on, big boy. Let's get
Yeah,
it.
so we like to see guys at least multiple times before we make it, just because we need to be sure. We have 7 spots. Like there's really not a lot of room to miss or make errors, so we see guys multiple times. We do like to invite guys to camps. I think camps are a huge part of that's not a thing. I know camps are a huge part of our recruiting process. Over half of our roster has come through one of our camps at one point. So like we do a huge part of our recruiting through camps, and it's really good for us just to get one again because it's so national. It's easier to have guys come to us too sometimes of like, hey, like this is, and then we can show them around. All of our camps have campus tours. All of our camps get to see all of our athletics facilities and all of stuff like that. So like being able to show them and showcase everything that we have to offer all in one spot is really, really something that's really helpful for all of us too. So yeah, definitely usually if we don't invite them to camp, we'll definitely go see them at least 1 or 2 more times throughout the summer at least. And then usually there's some type of either official or unofficial visit involved, and then there's some other stuff that way. But usually the first thing after we see a kid and we like him, we'll ask him for his transcripts, make sure that stuff matches up, test scores, all that good stuff, because they got to be able to get in first before we even go any further. So we got to make sure that they can get in. But then after all that stuff, it's easier usually trying to find a way to either have them come up for an unofficial or get them up here for an official visit, and just show them everything we have to offer, and hopefully they like what we can offer.
Definitely, definitely. So, I mean, you guys aren't even really phased by the transfer portal. I feel like a lot of the coaches that I've talked to, they're building a new program year by year, essentially. They're losing guys, they're having to find new guys. But you guys aren't doing that. You guys are still in the old model of identify high school players early on and kind of groom them until they're ready to come to Yale. So, my question then becomes, if you're not having to worry about guys leaving and worrying about getting guys in the portal year after year, when does that process start for you guys to identify players early on in their development? Are you guys looking at freshmen and trying to see if they develop? Or are you guys still looking in that junior window and only looking there? Or I guess where does that window lie for you guys?
Yeah, so I'll first off start by saying, yeah, I think we're really lucky that one, all the guys who come here know the value of the Yale education and know that what they're getting from here is basically priceless, and that they don't leave once they get here, and that every kid here loves it. I mean, we probably 8 kids stay over the summer, stay on campus, play summer ball in the Northeast. Like, kids love being at Yale once they get here. So like having guys that love that. We also feel like we're the last true NCAA. Like, it feels like we're the last true, like you said, of how it used to be. Of like, we get to identify guys as juniors in high school. We get to talk with them through their senior year. We get to bring them in as freshmen. We get to see them grow through all 4 years. Like, that's how it used to be, and that's not really how it is. In most other places, and of course, being everywhere, I've have friends at all different levels, and we talk about it all the time about how transfer portal changes and how just like you said, they build new teams every year, and we're really lucky that we get guys, and we get to have our hands on them for 4 years, and we get to help build them into the best baseball players that they can be. So, but yeah, to answer your question, usually we start identifying them. So like, we're on our 2027 class now. So we usually start identifying them as the summer going into their junior year, and just kind of start taking notes. And then once August 1 comes and we can start contacting some 2027s or some juniors, that's when we start contacting them, letting them know that we're interested, going through that type of process of, hey, we'd love to have you come up for a camp, or we'd love to, see you some more, send us your schedule, like, let's see where we can make this work, some types of stuff like that. But yeah, so usually the identification process is usually the summer before their junior year. And we go pretty hard into just watching most of them and finishing up that last class. So usually we like to have our class done about a year in advance. So like, we finished up our 2026 class probably later than we would have liked to, uh, early 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 September this year, which is kind of late for us, but just kind of the way that stuff's working, we're seeing like some guys are actually available later, just because most colleges seems like aren't recruiting high school guys as much as they used to be. So the talent is available a little bit later. So
Yeah.
we were able to get still incredible guys at a little bit later time. So that's something that's good for us. But yeah, so we start to do the identifying them early, and obviously it takes a while to get a lot of stuff in order and to get into Yale. It's not a quick process, so that takes some time too. So but yeah, we try to identify guys early. We try to watch them as much as we can.
And when you're identifying these guys and you're going to all these games and you're watching video, like, what is it that sticks out for Yale? What style of baseball is it that you would say that Yale is looking for out of these players who want to attend Yale?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the first thing is we love dudes who play hard. Like, we love dudes who play hard. We love dudes that. So it's funny. We always talk about, like, our brand of baseball is different from a lot of other people's brands of baseball. We play what we like to call as a chaos offense, but we're gonna bunt, we're gonna steal, we're gonna hit and run, we're gonna bunt for hits, we're gonna safety squeeze. Like, we're gonna do everything that is basically, like, as we joke, is against Major League Baseball now. But we do everything that's like old school baseball, of like anything we can do to scratch a run across, anything we can do to take an extra base, anything we can do. Basically, we're just trying to win in any way possible. And those are also the kind of guys that we look for. Like, we love watching games and seeing a guy take an extra base when an outfielder bobbles a ball. We love seeing a guy pick up that a pitcher's got 1 second to the plate every time, and he's taken a base on the third time that he came set for 1/1000 and took off. Like, we love watching guys.
Love it.
We love watching guys play
Love it.
play the game hard. Like, that's one of the things that, like, no matter where you are, and like every coach is going to say this, but like, when you see a guy who just looks like he wants to be out there, like, that's such a huge feather in your cap when you're looking at stuff. Like, we've all been to showcases and tournaments where it looks like Tommy's dad signed him up for the showcase, and the last place he wants to be is at the showcase. Like, that's not the kind of person we want in our program, and that's not the kind of person that we want, help influencing our culture. So like, guys that just show up, work hard, ready to go. Like those are the guys we look for. I mean, obviously they have to be super talented and really smart. So there's a lot more that goes into it. But yeah, I mean, we watch for guys that play hard, like especially on the position player side. Like if you're a dirtbag, we love it.
Now, what about the guys who, what separates the guy that you guys identify early sophomore year as somebody who you're interested in, and the guy at the end of senior year who's getting to sign and say, like, hey, I'm going to Yale? What separates those two types of players? Because you guys identify thousands of
Yeah.
players, I'd have to imagine.
Um, a lot of times, sometimes it comes down to grades. Obviously, being able to get into school is obviously a big one. Grades do it, and then a lot of other times it's either play style, how they're going to fit in our offense. It's also just needs too. Like if for this upcoming year we have a huge need for infielders, and if we see a couple outfielders that we like, but we just don't have a need for outfielders, like then it's not going to work out that way. So it's really just what we need at that point. Really is kind of more of the take, and then just again like watching them as much as we can and hopefully to make the best informed decision of which guy's going to fit in our culture, our program, and help us win more than any of the other guys. I mean, it's being able to talk to high school coaches, travel coaches, coaches in high school that they coach against them. Like we try to do as much homework as we can to make sure that we're not getting surprised by anything. So it's really just it comes down to us trying to make the best guess, and that's kind of all recruiting is. It's just guessing, and you hope you guess right more than you guess wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you've mentioned the player development, how good the player development is over there at Yale. What can a freshman expect when they step foot on campus for the first time at Yale after they've gone through, you guys identify them, you're like, come here, we're ready to go. Like, what does that transition look like from high school to Yale?
Yeah. So first of all, I think it's a pretty big transition just going from anytime you go from high school to Division I baseball. The game's just so much faster. It doesn't really matter what level of high school baseball you played at. I know you played in Texas. It's probably some of the highest level competition in the country. I played in South Florida, some of the highest level high school baseball competition in the country. But again, the speed and stuff just doesn't even come close to the speed of Division I baseball. So getting those guys accustomed and getting them comfortable to the speed of Division I baseball is a big difference. But it's definitely, I'd say, I don't know if it's easier in the Ivy, but we have less hours than other Division Ones just because academics are so forward. So we have a little bit less hours. So just teaching the kids how to make the most out of their time, I think, is something that's
What does that mean for the people that don't know?
so.
What does that mean? You have less
So
hours.
so we have two different segments in the fall. We have what's called the championship or in-season segment, which is 20 hours a week, and then we have like small individual work, which is a different type of segment, which is just usually 8 hour segment for most of Division One, and we're slightly under that. Um, so so we just have certain number of hours that we can work with guys a week. So with us, we just teach our guys to make the most out of those hours, and we're really lucky to have, like I said, again, Coach Keene and Coach Wojcik that are incredible hitting and pitching coaches that one not only know how to make those hours count, but know how to teach guys how to get better on their own and take stuff that they learn there and transform that into a couple cage sessions. And we're also lucky to have incredible senior leadership. So to have those guys that lead some type of like, hey, we're all going to the cage now to hit, or hey, we're going to hit on the field today, like all that kind of stuff where they do it by themselves. None of us are there, but they got guys holding them accountable. So again, all the credit goes to Coach Ham and the staff who's created that culture in the last 4 years that they've been here, to have guys that can come in and really take freshmen under their wing and show them like, hey, this is what college baseball is, and this is how we're successful in this program. And we have a bunch of upperclassmen who hold the standard very high, and that's something that's important. And I think last year was a big year for us, having 6 seniors and 4 leave of absence guys. So guys who had like an extra COVID year, who were able to take a leave of absence. So they were able to take 2 fall semesters off so they could play an extra spring semester. Um, So
Oh, no
yeah,
school and you get to play baseball?
yeah. So
That sounds like my kind
yeah.
of dream.
Yeah, so but we had 10 guys last year who were true leaders and who left as champions, which they deserve to. But they set the standard really high for everyone to follow, which is really cool. And but those guys really left a mark on the program, and they showed even the sophomores that are now juniors and the juniors that are now seniors how it's supposed to be led and how winning culture is made. So it's really helped all of our freshmen that way of having those guys now just take freshmen as soon as they get on campus. Like, hey, like we're coming to the field. We're going to show you how we go through stuff. We're going to show you how we warm up. We're going to show you how we use this stuff. And like all that stuff is like I said, we're really lucky to be part of a great culture that does that mostly without us even having to do anything. So again, being surrounded by some of the smartest kids in the world who also happen to be really good baseball players also helps too, that they're smart enough to know all that stuff too.
Definitely, definitely. And so my brain is going to this question here because y'all aren't losing kids every year and you just have kids for 4 years. I'd have to imagine it's super difficult for a freshman to come in and play. Like, how does that pecking order work when it comes to writing a lineup for 9 guys? You got 22 guys right this year, so I would have to imagine everybody on that team has to put in some form of effort in order for you guys to be successful. But are you guys playing a lot of underclassmen, or is it a ton of just like, hey, you got to wait your turn? We've got dudes who've been here and know the program for 4 years, and these are our guys that we go with.
No, so we have a ton of underclassmen that play, and like you see that pretty much scattered throughout the Ivy, just because numbers are so low. Because like even when we have a full 28, we usually have 14 pitchers, so that only leaves 14 position players. So that's there's a huge amount of playing time and responsibility that freshmen have to take on, which is really good for their development, but it's also we just have to learn that it's okay that they're going to struggle, and like freshmen learn that they're going to struggle a little bit. But again, with numbers being so low, they get kind of thrown into the fire right away. So underclassmen play a lot and very often. We had 2 freshmen last year, Jack Dower, our third baseman, conference freshman of the year, Jack Oman, national freshman pitcher of the year, like just a dude. But yeah, like that's like freshmen come here and they come here to play. Like, and that's what we recruit them to do. Like we don't recruit kids to come sit on the bench. Like we recruit kids to come and make a difference. So um and like with 14 and we pinch hit, we'll pinch run, like guys get into games. We have 28 on a roster for a reason, and we usually believe that. Like we don't just have 10 guys in a game. Like we well, like I said, pinch hit, pinch run, like use the roster to its fullest advantage and get guys the most amount of exposure because it's going to end up paying dividends in the future. And like we said, we have a bunch of guys who grow up fast, but they get thrown into the fire a little bit, and they learn from one, the great coaches, and two, the great leadership that they have around them to get into the game and do the best that they can when they're in there.
Yeah. So you've mentioned your coach, your head coach, a couple of times now. Can you kind of describe him as a person and then him as a coach, and maybe what style? It sounds like a dirtbag style, but kind of how his style of leadership
Yeah.
is that these kids can expect to kind of walk into.
Yeah, so I'll say it again. Coach Ham is just incredible, an incredible guy to work for. I love coming to work every day, so that's a huge plus. Makes the long hours and the hard days way easier when you love the guys that you're around. But Coach Ham is an incredible leader. He's a leader in every sense of the word. He teaches our guys how to be great leaders on and off the field. He does just about everything that you want in a head coach, and he's an incredible guy to work for because he trusts all of us to go take care of a lot of the baseball stuff, and he's really great at just being just an unreal people person. Like I've been really lucky to learn how to do unreal fundraising stuff from him. Learned how to how to just interact with people, but he teaches, I think the most important thing that he teaches our guys, aside from any of the baseball thing, is like what it means to be part of this program and what it means to be part of Yale baseball. And that everyone from the person who scrubs the toilets in the locker room to our athletic director is treated the same way. And I think that's the most important thing, not only for baseball, but for life, that we go on and we realize that Yale baseball is not the 28 guys and 4 coaches. Like it's the like I said, the janitor, the SID, our athletic trainer, our strength and conditioning coach. Like there's so many people that go into making our lives not only easier but making our lives better. And he's just really great at letting our guys know and teaching them that there's so much more to baseball and so much more to life. Like when these guys go to be CEOs of companies and all this other stuff, there's so many valuable life lessons that they learn just through our culture of everything matters and treating everyone the same way and showing all the respect that we can. So like all that stuff's really cool to see. And then baseball side, yeah, we compete, man. That's what we try to do every day. We wake up every day and we want to win. And that's what he brings to practice every day. We usually have some type of competition in every single day's practice because we just teach guys that winning is important and we reward winning. When you have a group of guys who just all they want to do is win, it's usually going to work out well for them. So when it comes to baseball team and practice, like that's our culture is to compete. It's to love each other and it's to compete. And we're really good at doing both of those things. And all the like I said, all the credit in the world again goes to Coach Ham and Coach Keen and Coach Wojcik in that sense of how they've done it for 4 years now and built the culture on competition, winning, and respect.
Definitely, definitely. And you guys are coming off, as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, a 30-win season, coaching staff of the year. I know that you guys are probably humble enough to say like that's not us award, that's the team just making us look good. I get all of that. When I think about college baseball, transparently, Yale is not the first team that comes to my head, right? I'm not thinking about that. But you guys are kind of turning a corner right now with dudes that y'all are putting in. You got a top 10 draft pick over there. You just come off a 30-win season. You got the academics backing you guys. Like, what is the standard at Yale now, and what is its identity looking like moving forward? What are y'all really trying to build over there?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's definitely not a cliche. The kids definitely made us look way better than we were, so we'll throw that out there for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, just honored to get that award, but it was the award for the kids. Like they were regular season champions. They earned every bit of that. We let them play really good baseball and we just got to reward some of the fruits of their labor a little bit. So that's cool. But yeah, the standard of Yale baseball is as high as I think it's ever been, and it's only going to get higher. Um, we're just at a really cool place and a really cool institution that gives us everything we need, everything we want. I don't think we've ever really been told no for anything when we ask for stuff that we think is going to make us better. So I hate to use the cliche of the sky's the limit, but we're in a really cool place surrounded by really cool people of guys who just one want to win, guys who want to work harder than everybody else, and guys who just their end goal is the end goal of most people in the athletic department of Omaha and championships. Like I know that sounds crazy and we're just a little Ivy League school and nobody takes space, but like that's if your dreams don't scare you, then you're not dreaming big enough. And like I think a lot of people are scared to admit that an Ivy could probably make it to Omaha again, but I don't see it far fetched and I don't see it far off and we play good baseball. And so yeah, I think just the culture, everything is headed in such a great direction. Um, just just being in the right place, surrounded by people who have the same goal, is really huge for all of us here, and making sure that that standard is upheld every single day when we go in and get stuff done. So yeah, again, I hate the cliche of the sky's the limit, but it really is. Like we're just going to do everything we can at it and try to represent this great institution the best that we can.
Now, if I'm a kid listening to this podcast and I'm like, dude, Coach Wren sounds amazing, Yale sounds amazing, I want to get there, and I'm just now entering, my recruiting period. What can I do to help myself, get in front of you guys, or just be somebody who you guys, are attracted to?
Yeah, I mean, the first and easiest way to always get on our radar is to come to one of our camps. We have camps throughout the year. EYBaseball.com. We'll do a little plug for it there. Like, that's also on all of our websites. You can find it just about anywhere you look. Yale Baseball camps, if you even just Google that, it'll come up. So I say the best thing to get on our radar, one, come to one of our camps, but send us emails, reach out to us, just try to start that relationship. Like I said, we get a ton of emails every day, but we try to read and respond to just about each and every one of them. I know we're a little different than a lot of people, but that's kind of just what we do. That's one, how we grow our camp business, but it's two, how we just make sure that nobody
Don't respond to every email?
Yeah.
So you said?
Yeah, just about.
Every person who sends you an email, hey coach, I want to come, I throw 67. That guy's, you're like, yo, buddy.
Yeah. So
Thanks for reaching out.
Like we'll read through some of them, and if some guy has like a 2.5 and like stuff like that, we'll be like, okay, like this guy obviously was just sent a mass email and some stuff like that. But yeah, most pretty much any email of guys that meet our standard is getting a response.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, but
awesome.
That's just
it's got to take some time. That already speaks, volumes to y'all's dedication. That's got to take so much time.
It is. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. But again, when you want to be great and you want to do stuff, the time is kind of the least of your worries in that aspect. It's what it takes to win and what it takes to be great. And like I said, we've gotten some guys just from random emails. We've gotten some guys from just showing up at camp. Like, there are guys out there, again, like I said, I think Coach Keenan, Coach Wojcik know just about every guy that can do it in the country, but every once in a while a guy might fall through the cracks, or a guy we miss, and he shows up at camp, or he sends us an email one day, and that's how we learn about him. So yeah, I'd say send us emails. All of our emails are on the website. Come to a camp. Anything you can to get in front of us. We're pretty active in the summer. We go to a bunch of different showcases, camps, tournaments, obviously. So yeah, anything you can to get in front of us and reach out to us and start building that connection is huge.
I always like to ask this question. I don't think I can ask this question enough, and I don't think parents and kids can hear it enough. But what are some big do's and don'ts of sending emails to college coaches that you'd recommend?
Yeah, so I think the biggest do is one, make sure that it's addressed to the right coach and the right school.
I hear that all the time. You guys must just
Nothing I
get
hate
them
more is
wrong.
opening up an email saying that a kid wants to go to San Diego State, and I'd be like, yeah, man, I'd love to go to San Diego too, but I'm in New Haven, Connecticut, so I don't know how I can help you with that one.
Now, is that kid getting a response too?
That kid is not getting a response. I will say that kid is not getting a response. If he doesn't take the time to put the right coach or the right school, then he didn't take the time that I felt like warranted a response that way. But I still read his email. So there's that.
There you go.
But yeah, so I'd say that's the first one, is just take your time. I'd say throw something in there to make it not seem like such a form email. Like, I know you guys aren't sending personal emails to 7,000 schools, but make it not seem so form email. Just don't mail your whole thing and just say, hi, coach, and then blah, blah, blah. Like, take the time, put some, hi, Coach Wren, I'm interested in Yale. Like, I see you guys are really good at pitching. I think I could be a next great pitcher on your staff. Like, do some stuff like that that makes it seem a little bit more personal, make some time. If you're truly interested, and like, actually do some research about the school too. Don't say that you're interested in a major that we don't offer. Because then I'm not going to waste your time, and I'm not going to waste my time. If you want to go do something in sport management, that's awesome. But that's not something that we offer here at Yale. So again, there's no sense wasting your time and money coming to a camp or getting in front of us if we don't even offer the thing that you want to study. So yeah, I say do some research that way. Also, high academic, the more you can attach your transcripts or add your transcripts to anything, it just makes our lives easier. It's just a quick way for us to check yes or no if you're going to be able to get in or not. So if you guys want to attach your transcripts to emails, it makes our lives so much easier. And then also a little bit of video. Obviously, I don't need a 10-minute video, but minute 50, something around there, of just what you can do in a game. Game footage is always better than practice footage, but if you only got practice footage, that's fine. I will say game footage, don't have your dad taking it on his phone 15 feet, 15 rows up in the stands through a chain link fence. Like, we can't see any, like, if you will look at it and it's not something that you would show your hitting coach or your pitching coach, don't send it to us either. Uh, so
Yeah.
that's a good rule of thumb that I have. Like, if you can't see your mechanics through it, or you wouldn't show your hitting or pitching coach, don't send it to us. I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb for that one. And that's it, man. The big thing is just make sure that everything's correct. And I'll say this again: if you want to go to Yale and you have a bunch of spelling errors and grammatical errors and a whole bunch of different punctuation stuff, probably not what we think is going to get into Yale. So take your time, make sure everything's done right, proofread your emails too. Definitely important.
Now, let me ask you this question. This is just a small, you don't have to go deep into this. Do you guys deal with recruiting services? And if so, would you rather, and I don't know if you can answer this, and so feel free to be like, oh, I don't know what I said. But is it more person? I don't want to say that. Do you play favor? I don't even know how I'm trying to ask this. Basically, what I'm trying to say is when a kid sends you an email as opposed to getting it from like a recruiting services, like how does that weigh out in your mind? Like, does it weigh one way or the other, or not really?
Yeah, I mean, obviously in this business you make relationships and you meet guys who are coaches who now go into recruiting services and stuff like that. Like, there's all different kinds of people in this world, and like, you just learn the guys that you can trust and the guys that you like will take their word for it. And some guys, like, obviously we're going to have to do our own research on these guys and stuff, but I always prefer hearing from a player over a recruiting service guy. Now if I know the guy and he just texts me like, "Hey Trev, like, I got this guy. He's great. Like, I think he'll fit in your program." Awesome. Thank you, man. I'll take a look at him. But like, email wise, like, I'd say the same thing about parents and everything. Like, I want to hear from the kid. Like, I want to know that the kid's interested and the kid wants to be here. Like, if I just get a email from a recruiting service guy, like, I think he's probably sending it to every school in the Ivy and every school in the NESCAC and every other high academic school around here because he's got a high academic kid. But if a kid sends a personal one to Yale and that he really likes Yale and he wants to be here, like, I think that carries a little bit more weight. But again, it's all different. It's all about the relationships and all that kind of stuff too. So, like I said, we read just about every email we get, and so we're gonna read it and we're gonna take a look at it. And I mean, we found some good kids off of recruiting service blast emails. We've found some good kids off of them sending us emails both ways. So it works every way. But yeah, preferably, I just prefer having kids email me personally.
Gotcha. Couple more questions and we'll wrap up here for today. You do a lot with the catching as well. You're the catching coach over there, and you work with a lot of those catchers. If you're a catcher, or if I'm a catcher listening to this podcast, like, what's some advice that you would give a high school catcher so that they can kind of improve their game? It might not be to go to Yale; it just might be overall. I don't think that there's enough, good coaching for catching out there right now. It's a definitely saturated market between pitching and hitting, and I don't think catchers are getting that high level coaching that they probably need and deserve, especially because of how important that one position is. As we both know, if you've got a good catcher, your
Yeah,
life on the mound or in the field is pretty easy. You got a bad catcher, like, it's a long, long day or a long, long season.
no
So what
doubt.
can catchers do to better themselves?
I think the first thing is just take care of your craft like every other position takes care of their craft. Like, infielders have routines that they go through every day. Outfielders have routines they go through. Catchers should have the same routine that they go through every day. Our catchers do weighted ball drills. They do all kinds of different drills to make sure that their receiving and their blocking is set, is in a good thing. I know a lot of times in high school or travel ball, like, most catchers' days are literally just catching pens and, okay, good, you got your work in, high five, go hit. I would prefer if you guys, like, yes, still have to catch pens because the best way to get better, just like everything else, is experience in doing it and catching your pitchers, and all that is great. But I'd say any type of drill work that you can do, and we're really lucky now, especially kids nowadays, you grow up in the day and age where information is so accessible. I know the San Francisco Giants do a great job of putting a bunch of drills online. I've actually gone and watched a bunch of their drills and do a bunch of their drills with our guys, and like, there's so many different catching coaches out there, and Twitter's huge. X, I guess it's called X now. Whatever it is, it's huge
Yeah.
now for all kinds of stuff. Like there's so much information out there for kids, and I think the best thing for most guys to do is just do your research. Figure out which drills work best for you, which drills work best um, in your in your catching style, like which ones you like, and then also just trying some stuff out, but finding the routine that makes you feel that you're at the best level that you can be when you go to catch those bullpens or when you go into a game. So don't be scared to try new things. Don't be scared to try new drills. A lot of that stuff is where you find what's actually going to help you later on. So I'd say, yeah, just do your research. YouTube, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, are great places to find new catching drills. I mean, I could probably sit here for an hour and give you guys a bunch of catching drills, but I'll say ones that I like are receiving with weighted balls and really working on your wrist strength and making sure that you're catching in proper technique and proper form, and just having somebody that holds you accountable to, whether it's the other catcher that you catch pens with, or one of your assistant coaches, or something that's working with you, and just making sure that you're doing stuff the right way. Because it's really easy to say, oh, I got 5 minutes, I'm going to go through this quickly. Well, I'd rather you do 4 reps of it correctly than 15 reps of it just getting done quickly. So I think just making sure that you're doing stuff, one, the right way, but you're taking care of everything you need to take care of, and find your routine. I think it's really important for all baseball players. I mean, I'm sure you had one. I know I had one. Like, your pregame routine is really important, and it just sets you up the best for success. So finding the best way to get your pregame routine and pre-practice routine in so that you're at your best shape to perform when time comes.
Definitely. Do y'all call your own pitches over there? Do they call their own pitches at Yale, or does the
Our
coach
pitching
call?
coach does, and uh, he's just he's a great pitch caller, and I don't think uh, I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon, just because he's really good at it, and we've had a lot of
Yeah.
success. I think that's pretty much the way throughout most of college too. I don't think there are many catchers in
Yeah.
college that call the game.
Would you prefer a high school catcher to call his own game, or does that matter if a guy comes in having some understanding of how to call a game?
I think it helps more almost on the hitting side than it does on the catching side. Um, just like if you know how guys are going to call games, if you know what to kind of expect, like that's always a great plus. But I don't think that has ever deterred or attracted me to a catcher more or less.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, Trevor, man, you've been so generous with your time, man. I want to go through just a quick rapid fire question round, just some fun stuff, just get to know you a little bit, and then we'll call it from there. Sound good?
Go for it.
Trying a little something different,
Love it. Let's have some
and keep
fun.
the people involved. All right, so if you were still playing today, what would your walkout song be?
Oh, I'm sticking with the same one that I had when I was playing. Walk Through by Rich Homie Quan. Loved it.
Let's
Not changing
go.
it.
Favorite Ivy League, favorite Ivy League road trip.
Ooh. Now, I've only gotten to go to half the places in the Ivy League so far, so I can't say for sure. But I think Columbia this year will be cool, just being in New York City. That's always a cool one.
What about your so far? What's your favorite Yale uniforms?
Ooh, our creams, easy. Our creams, they're
Okay.
based off our old uniforms, so they look like throwback uniforms. They're clean, they're classic, they're easy. Love the creams.
One player you'd pay to watch take BP, past or present.
So growing up a Cleveland Guardians Indians fan, Jim Tomei was always my favorite player of all time. So I would
Mm.
pay to watch him just hit bombs, and I know he was such a good like backside hitter. I know he'd have some really good drills in BP that he would work with too. So Jim Tomei is there.
Nice. And then last question right here. What is your favorite drill for hitters? If you had to
No,
choose one,
yeah.
one that you had to stick with for the rest of your life.
Shout out my guy Billy Henley, hitting coach at Northwestern State. Worked with him at Andrew College and at Northwestern State. Is also going to be a groomsman in my wedding. So one of my best friends, but uh, two-headed or three-headed monster is what we called it. So you either do BP pitcher and two machines, or just two machines at the same time. So fastball slider coming at you at the same time, just as close to simulating live pitching as you can.
Love that. Trevor, again, thank you so much for your time, man. This has been awesome. I hope the people out there have gotten a ton of information about Yale. You definitely did a great job, and I look forward to seeing how you guys progress and, hopefully turning in another 30-win season, getting some dudes drafted, and seeing your pretty face on that coaching staff of the year award would be nothing but cool.
No doubt. I appreciate it, Dayla. I appreciate you having me. Like I said, had a great time this summer getting to know you. And like I said, you never need anything. You got my number. We'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, brother. Well, you take care. We'll talk soon.
All right. You too, brother.